Hello, my name is Tanay Tiwari and welcome to Buzz This Week, your only constant source of cricket news and memes every week. In a world जहां अब कुछ constant रहा नहीं. Things are changing. COVID variants से लेकर petrol prices तक, everything is dynamic. Nothing is constant. But we are on the show this week. WTC final, the delight and despair. PSL's new champions and England rout Sri Lanka. Some things in life are worth waiting for. I agree. But what happens when that wait starts to seem endless?
रहा नहीं जाता, तड़प ही ऐसी है ना.
हाँ, सच में नहीं रहा जा रहा यार, सच में तड़प ऐसी है. Indian fans have been waiting for an ICC trophy for India since June 23rd, 2013, which is when India last picked up an ICC trophy, the Champions Trophy 2013. On June 23rd, 2021, they were in yet another ICC final, the World Test Championship final, the final day. And
तारीख पर
तारीख मिलती रही जज साहब, ICC trophy नहीं मिली. Precisely what happened. India lost yet another ICC final, this time to New Zealand, as New Zealand won the maiden ICC World Test champion, became the first champions of the longest format in a 144-year history of this format, and rightly so. The Indian fans were disappointed. Hand to heart, it didn't hurt that much because New Zealand were the winners after what happened to them first in the 2015 World Cup final, where they made it to the final but had a dismal outing in the final game. Then to what happened in the 2019 final, where the barest of margins decided the result in England's favour. Here the margins were not bare. New Zealand won fair and square. The two of their top batsmen, Ross Taylor and Kane Williamson, were out there doing the job for them. They took the mace home and cricket Twitter was very happy. As Team India look ahead, though, Virat Kohli said that he wanted tour games in the build-up to that England Test series starting in August, but they've not been given them. The plan was for India to play intra-squad games in the build-up to that series, but now reports say that the BCCI has made an official request to the ECB to provide them with proper games in the build-up to that Test series against perhaps county sides, which means that Team India might have some practice heading into that Test series. As for the other Team India, which is also in England, in Bristol, while they put on a great show in the one-off Test match, they didn't really put up a great show in the first ODI, where they went down against a very dominant England side. A stop-start PSL 2021 finally came to an end, with Multan Sultans picking up their maiden PSL title, beating Peshawar Zalmis in the final. First, Sohaib Maqsood and Riley Russo put on a great show with the bat, and then that veteran Imran Tahir with the ball took 3 strikes from which the Zalmis could not recover. Talk of recovering though, the pitches in the UAE will have a hard time doing that, because now the reports are seeming to confirm that the T20 World Cup 2021, which was scheduled to take place in India, might take place in the UAE. The reports say that the BCCI may have already started preparing for a tournament in the UAE. The tournament is expected to begin on October 17th, which is just 2 days after the IPL final on October 15th. Now remember, the IPL's remaining leg starts on September 19th. The grounds in the UAE have already hosted a good chunk of the PSL. They'll host the latter half of IPL 2021 and then host the entire T20 World Cup. Now the ICC is mulling over including Oman as one of the venues as well, but yet the amount of cricket that has been played on these pitches by the end of the T20 World Cup will mean that these pitches will be tired. My only message to the pitches again is, thak jayenge. What would happen to a science student if you give him an accounts paper to solve on his first day of the board exams? Sri Lanka had similar troubles against England because the ineptitude, especially in their batting in the 3 T20Is against England, was so bad that England didn't even break a sweat as they clean swept Sri Lanka. This angered the Sri Lankan fans a lot, who started trending hashtag unfollow cricketers on Twitter and gathered a lot of traction. Sri Lanka's problems, though, doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. They have 3 ODIs to play against the hosts, but also now there is an inquiry against Tanay Tiwari and Mendis for breaking the biosecure bubble, as was seen in a video posted by a Twitter user. Sri Lanka need to pull their socks up, because after this England ODI series and the storm that's brewing for them in England, they go back home and play India. Yes, India, that will be led by Shikhar Dhawan, Vice Captain Bhuvneshwar Kumar, under the head coach Rahul Dravid. Team India has departed from India for Sri Lanka already, where in the pre-departure press conference, Rahul Dravid, quite opposite to what he does on India A Tour, said that won't be possible here. We might not be able to give everyone a chance because it's a short series, but it'll be an interesting one. And that is where stems your bus challenge as well. Which is the one person you really want to make debut for India in this series and do well? I'll give you my pick. I really want to see Devdutt Padikkal make an India debut and make a name for himself, because he's that good a white ball player. What are your picks? Tell us using hashtag Buzz this week on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Kahin bhi bhej do bas. That's all that we have for you in this episode of Buzz This Week. Until next week, remember, masks up, hands sanitize, distance socially. Because there's a Delta Plus out there and we need to be careful Pro Max Ultra to beat it.